All right, good morning, class. I wanted to get this out as early as possible to give you as much time as possible. So even though Module 9 is not due for a couple more days on Sunday, I figured I'd go ahead and talk a little bit about the final project, which is due in 2 weeks. It's due on the last day of the class, which is December 11th. So for some of you that may be done with Module 9 or you're going to finish Module 9 very quickly, then you can go ahead and get started on this. For others, just remember, that you need to get started as soon as possible on the final project. So let's talk a little bit about the final project. So let me open up that module. So there's just a couple things in here. So we'll first look at the assignment. So this is the assignment, right? You're going to create a multi-view orthographic drawing of the gearbox, which is figure 10-48 on page 296. I'll show that in a second. In this drawing, you're going to create 4 views, okay? You're going to create a top and front view and a right side view, all right? The right side view is going to be a full section view. In addition to the top, front, and right side view, you're also going to create an auxiliary view, all right? And I'll show you where that's going to be and what that's going to be of in just a second here. You're also, in addition to the views, you're also going to dimension the object, obviously, and you're going to dimension it just like we've done in our other dimensioning assignments, according to the ASME Y14.5 standard and the CAD department standards. I've also given you another link right here so that you can pull that up. And then here's some reminders, okay? So let me go through these reminders here. I want you to use proper layer and line type conventions, right? You're going to include a cutting plane line with viewing arrows for the section view, okay? Use the ANSI English dimension style, annotatively, of course, and this is no change than what we've already done. All dimensions to 2 decimal places except where shown in the figure. Now, I will make a video shortly that's going to show you how to change the decimals on the dimensioning. Okay, so you'll just have to hold off on that. I'll put that together today and upload it. Use simplified representation for the threads. Again, the same as we've done in the last assignment, Module 9. Omit any surface finish marks, and I'll show you what those are, but we're just going to ignore those. We're going to print this on a C-size border, right? Because this is a rather large drawing, and I want you to, print it at a reasonably large scale. We're going to have to use a C-size border, all right? Nothing else will change, even though, we've been working on B-size borders, I think, for the majority of the class. And in Module 9, I think there was a couple that we could fit on an A-size border. But for this one, we're going to use a C-size border. Of course, the title block needs to be completed and include all notes, okay? As we've always done, include the notes. And you remember that in the CAD department standard, there is a couple pages where I give you all the standard and relevant notes, okay? Now, how am I going to grade the final project? You can probably imagine that the final project, you can read the description right up here. It's really putting everything together that we've done, okay? So it's going to have our standard orthographic views, top, front, right side view. It's also going to have a section view, and it's also going to include an auxiliary view. So in terms of what we've covered in class, it's going to package all that together nicely. And in addition, it's going to be dimensioned, all right? So it's really going to put together everything that we've talked about and done in class, all right? So the grading is going to be, first of all, have you done the orthographic views properly, okay? Top, front, and right side view. Are they aligned? Are they oriented properly? Have you done anything like omitting lines or anything like that? Correct auxiliary view presentation. So again, same thing there. Have you projected the auxiliary view properly? Is it aligned properly? Are you choosing the right surface? The section view is drawn correctly. All right. And remember, the section view has some additional ingredients. It has section lines that are in it. It has a cutting plane line that you're going to be drawing. You have to make some decisions about which lines to show and which lines to not show. Namely, we don't include hidden lines in the section view, in the view that is the section. All right. Correct thread representation. The object is dimensioned correctly, including notes and symbols. Dimensions are plotted at the correct size, and this basically means that you're going to need to use annotative dimensioning like we've done in our assignment. And then the object is plotted at a standard scale and positioned appropriately within the border. Okay, so those are my little reminders or little bullet points for what you need to pay attention to, the objectives, so to speak, or the grading criteria for this assignment. The final project is your final exam. So if you're working with anybody else, if you're, studying with somebody else, please make sure that you do not share information with that, this is the part that's a little bit tough for me, but of course, I want everybody to work independently. This is where you prove and show me, demonstrate that you've learned the material that we've covered in class. And so I really want to make sure that you do that independently and properly. Okay. The assignment is due November 11th at midnight. Okay, which is a Friday, which is the last day of this class, of this semester, so to speak. Okay. So now let's talk about a couple other things. First of all, the assignment. So what is the drawing? The drawing that we're going to be working on is this drawing right here, the gearbox. So let me just talk to you a little bit about this. It's basically a box, okay, with these angled surfaces coming up at 40 degrees. You can see the angle right there, 40 degrees. So these are coming 40 degrees relative to the vertical, right? You can see they're dimensioned off the vertical, 40 degrees relative to the vertical. This view right here is showing you the back surface, okay? So they're calling this view A, right? And view A is looking at it from the back, okay? From the back of the object. And so this little bit right here is sticking out on this back side here. So it's sticking in the back. And that's why they're showing this, because you can't see that. And you can see where they're saying view A, that's the arrow is indicating that's the way you're looking for view A. And then this is what view A is. So this is just the back surface right here. The tapped holes, in fact, they're tapped blind holes or blind tapped holes, depending on how you want to phrase it. There are 4 of them, and they're right here, 2, 3, and 4. So there's 2 each on these angled surfaces. All right. Now I should point out, and I don't feel like I'm giving too much away here, these angled surfaces have a curved top. All right. So the top of this surface, inclined surface, and the top of this inclined surface have a slight radius to them. All right, and the radius is in fact a radius of 3 inches measured from the center of the box. Finally, there are 2 big windows. I'm going to use the term windows right here. One on this side, and one you can see it on the opposite side here. All right, there's a total of 3 holes. There's a hole here, and a hole here, and then a hole here. All right. And each hole has what we call a boss pad or a cylinder that rises up. So here's one boss pad there, cylinder. Here's the other one. You can just see a little section view of it, but in fact that is a boss pad there. And then this is the one that kind of sticks out the furthest. This one sticks out 0.84 from the back surface. All right. So that's kind of an overview of the gearbox drawing. You can, all the dimensions are here. I've drawn this a couple times. I know all the dimensions are given. There's nothing omitted, so everything should be, good to go for you. There's no mistakes in this. The surface finish marks that I'm talking about wanting you, or that you need to ignore or omit, are these marks right there. See how it looks like a little, I don't know what you would call that, a little shovel or a little check mark with a line over top. That's a surface finish mark. There's one right there. There is, let's see, is there another one there? Oh, there's one right there. Basically, there's one down there. Basically, just ignore them. All right, they don't do anything to the drawing. They don't, have any impact on the dimensions or the orthographic views, so you can just ignore them. The last thing I'll add in here is that all of these edges right here, with the exception of the surfaces that are shown white, right, and basic, well, here, let me explain this. All these corners here, all these edges right here are filleted. They have a radius 0.10 inch fillet radius, with the exception of these white surfaces, okay? And you can see the white surfaces here. And the one thing that the surface finish marks do tell us is they tell us the surfaces that are what we would call finished. That is to say, they're cut smooth and flat. And they indicate where we don't have fillets and rounds. So that edge right there does not have a fillet and round. All right. This edge here does not have a fillet and round. As opposed to this edge, this corner right here, which is filleted, that corner is filleted, this corner is filleted, so on and so forth. Okay. So I just want to draw your attention to that. Lastly, all right, I've included in here, let me pull this out here. I've included another little, helper tool right here, and this is a Gearbox Layout suggestion. All right. So in order to kind of understand, maybe to add a little bit of understanding to your drawing and how the layout can be arranged in your C-size border, I've included this figure right here. All right, so let me pull this across. There we go, right there. So this is a suggestion for the Gearbox layout. Now, of course, you can choose in your own way to ignore this, to make your own layout. I will say that probably this is a good idea to follow this layout. Okay, like I said, it's a free country. You can do what you want, but being that I'm the grader and that I have the answer key created, you might want to follow this layout. So let me blow this up a little bit to talk a little bit more about this layout in particular. So let me go to the view here, view, and I'll zoom in to this area right here so that we can talk a little bit about this. Okay, so there's my suggested layout. All right, so you can see the front view, the top view, and the right side view. Remember, the right side view is going to be a full section view, okay? And then here's the auxiliary view. And I'm probably giving away some information here, so I don't want you to ignore what I'm giving you, okay? The auxiliary view is a partial auxiliary view, all right? And you can clearly see that here. I'm only showing this surface in question right there. Okay. Of course, I'm omitting the two blind tapped holes, right? This is just an outline of the different views. You're going to fill in all the details here. You can also see where the back, that view A is located, right? Right here. See that big boss that's sticking out, 0.84? Well, basically there it is right there, and we can see it right there as well, all right? And then you can see the top and bottom one here. Now, the reason why you can't see this one up here is because the outline is just showing this feature, okay? So, again, these are just outlines. This isn't meant to, to be the total drawing. You got to fill in the details here. You can also see where I have fillets and rounds, okay? And some of this you have to zoom in, and I will do that in a second, but you can see the fillets and rounds in here and where there's sharp edges and fillets and rounds. All right. Now, if I zoom in right here, you can see this, and it might be hard for you to see, but again, I'm trying to, paint you a clear picture here so that you're as little confused as you can be. This edge right there has a fillet in it, a round of 0.10. Again, filleted, filleted, filleted. All right, so you can see that there's a fillet and there's a fillet. Now I can make a suggestion for the fillets and rounds in this. I would suggest that you put those in near the end of your drawing phase, okay? Why do I say that? Well, because to project across from these, right? Remember, there's no edge, there's no corner to project across to create the additional views. So it can be a little bit challenging to do that. And so I'm going to go back out here. Let's go to actual size. Actually, let me go back here to fit page. There we go. All right. So what I'm talking about is if you have these fillets and rounds, these edges here, sometimes they're difficult to project across. And so what I like to do is I like to put the fillets and rounds in at the end. Okay. Or not at the total end, but towards the end of the drawing phase of this, where I'm getting the 3-4 views kind of finalized here. Okay. So so there you go. That's an overview of the final project, all right, with some helper bits here with the suggested layout and a little discussion of the drawing itself here, all right. So remember that this is due December 11th. That gives us actually 2 weeks from today, which I think is more than enough time. My suggestion, strong suggestion, with lots of experience, both on the drawing end as a student and on the teaching end as a professor, teaching this for almost 30 years. Get started as soon as possible. All right, get started as soon as possible. Finish it as early as possible. Finish it as early as possible, and then print it out. All right. Now, I know you're saying, Mr. Bales, we don't have a C-size plotter. I know that. But you can print it on a standard 8.5 by 11 inch sheet. All right. And then what you're going to do with that drawing that you've printed out is you're going to review it. You're going to look at it. You're going to take a couple of days to go through it. All right. That way you can draw it, get it done, and finish it and not be stressed out. I don't want you guys to be drawing this December 11th or December 10th. I would love for everybody to be done with this, at on the week of December 11th, like, December 5 or 6, December 5th or 6th, so that you can focus on your other classes that you're taking and not have a stressful end to a very stressful semester. Okay. So, that's the last little bit that I have to add here. Look for a video talking about how to alter the number of decimal places in the drawing for this. I'll put that out there today, and I'll upload it to the YouTube channel like I always do. Of course, if you always have any questions, please feel free to email me. I'll be more than happy to help you out as much as I can. All right. So with that, good luck, and I hope to hear from you. Bye.